Back left. I'm usually the front row kind of student here, but I'm
We are up and running for the recording.
All right, so you're ready. I call this meeting of the Lake Country Classical Academy to the order at 6:01 p.m. on June 17, 2026. In accordance with Wisconsin open meeting law, the required public notice of this meeting ran in the Waukesha Freeman on Saturday, June 13th, and was posted at both LCCA campuses. The LCCA mission is to train the minds and improve the hearts of young people through a content-rich classical education in the liberal arts and sciences with instruction in principles of moral character and civic virtue. Please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show that all 5 members of the board are in attendance in person. Moving to approving agenda and past meeting minutes. All of the meeting minutes for the April, May, both May board meetings were posted, and I hope everyone has had a chance to review. Is there any objection to the minutes from the previous meetings or this agenda?
Yes.
All right.
I would like to amend the agenda from 5:20's meeting.
Okay.
The other two.
The minutes from 5:20.
I'm sorry. Yes, minutes. Under section number 4, Citizens Forum, I would move to strike where it says excess of the allowed 20-minute time frame. So I'll put a period after comments were received. And then strike while the 3-minute upper limit per person was observed, and everything else down through where we are singling out a specific member of the community's name, which is inappropriate and not something that we have done before. And that's, I find that inconsistent, so I would like to, I guess, to just have that struck. And then, this is still number 4, it was right in. Also, the listing of the categorizations of who was speaking, that is also something that's inconsistent with what we've done in the past. And then the very last sentence, interestingly, none of the comments were related to the agenda. That I feel is an editorial comment and is inappropriate to be listed as a reflection of the meeting. On number 5, I would like to insert the word why the majority of the board decided. And then under
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll try to find that.
Number 5.
Yeah, where do you want to insert that?
Where it says majority. John Wu. Oh, and Wu should be should be small letter, capital W, small U, for his service and address why the majority of the board decided to terminate.
Oh,
so it'd be majority.
Yep.
And then it goes on to say a request was made for the letter to be shared, which is correct. And then it says, and with Skylar's approval. Skylar was not present at the meeting, and this was a reflection of what occurred at the meeting. So I think, and sharing the letter would not require approval. So I don't know why it's in there, but you can strike that also.
So I would say just on that one, so you want to strike with Skylar's approval there.
This was made for the letter to be shared, and it
It should
It
say
should
greater.
just say shared and then period.
Oh,
Oh,
period.
yeah, and then, the the greater LCCA community, yeah, probably greater, but I think it just have a period after shared. I'm sorry, I should have printed it out and actually done my edits, but I was doing it in, at the 11th hour, so my apologies for that. So period after shared, and strike the rest, so it's not reflective of what occurred at the meeting. And then under number 6, I would move to strike the entire paragraph because I do feel that that is also editorializing. Mr. Wu did provide an update as to an explanation that he was asked about. And I feel that this is a highly editorialized section that is, I think it's inappropriate. I think it's not reflective of the level of professionalism that this board should have.
How would you like for number 6? How would you like us to reflect, and also number 4? If
Number-
we strike some of these things, how would we reflect a record of what happened during the meeting? So
I can come back and edit it and not take up the time here to do that if that's what I can. But,
So,
We could hold these over. if you
yeah,
want
should we
to send
hold this
around
one over?
minutes.
no, yeah, that's.
You send a red
that's
line,
fine.
that might
Yeah,
be better.
That would be,
Sure.
yeah,
So,
I can totally do that.
would it be appropriate then, Georgia, and everyone else, that we would approve the board meeting minutes from the 4:15 meeting and the 5:4 meeting
Sure.
and our agenda for today?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So do we have to vote on that then, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. I'll move that we approve those minutes
All right.
and agenda.
Can I make the motion as the president, or does someone else?
Okay.
All right, I move that we approve the meeting minutes for the 4/15/26, 5/4/26 meetings, and that we approve the agenda for this evening, and that we hold
Yeah,
The-
just table, yeah.
the table, the
For the next
the
meeting.
meeting from 5:20 for our next board meeting.
Yeah, and I can send around with
Yeah.
your help or whatever, just the edits in true edit form. And that'll help you so you don't have to write it up, sorry about that.
I'll second the motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, the next item on the agenda for this evening is the executive director's report. So John, I'll turn it over to you.
Should be pretty light. Typical update, just current status of enrollment. Prospectively, so as of this update that I sent earlier, was 552, but actually I have 2 more currently. Because of the constantly ongoing flux, so 2 more to the 9th grade. So like 554 total, or 33 in the 9th grade. And so far, it's actually holding, and of note, if we haven't talked about this before, that actually means we're carrying through thus far 2 sections of 9th grade. So I think that'll be our first high school class year, 2 sections. And we'll see how that progresses. Just so you guys are aware, sort of cutoff kind of at the margin is sort of 26, 27. So depending on where that ultimately ends up, the decision of 1 section versus 2 will be kind of, left in the air. But the
26, 27 students.
yes,
Okay.
but regardless, this is 2 sections of 9th grade, same faculty staff. So we don't need to add additional faculty from our current roster.
I know one of the challenges we have is space.
Yep.
So as we look at space, does that impact this year in any way, and is that a problem if that trend continues next year? Like, when does it become a problem?
So it has been figured out for this coming year with this state of affairs. I'd say if things were to hold, we'd probably, I think the following year will probably be okay. The next year, yeah.
Okay. So maybe next year, but the year after for sure.
I would say so. I mean, that depends on, right now, seventh grade prospectively 51 is pretty high relative to historical. You know, our drop-offs have been starting kind of 5th grade, progressing on, going 8th through 9th, with where 9th has ended up. It's kind of notable. And we'll see.
Yeah.
So,
That's great. Yeah. I mean, it's a good problem. It's kind of a
Yes.
challenge.
Just one thing to note, the last 2 years, even as late as July, 2 years ago, we lost 8% from July till first day of school, and then the next year it was 9. And even the second year, Margaret was highly confident that the number was pretty solid in July, so hopefully it doesn't happen this time, but just so you know, we did end up losing at least a meaningful amount right at the end.
So yeah, and again, so this will be constantly in flux, and then we'll see what happens as the summer goes. And just a reminder, you know, families have up until the day before the first day of school to get their deposit back. Just quick, just status of faculty and staff. Something of note, I mentioned this as I think throughout these months, people have talked about, it seemed to be of question as to the Hillsdale kind of resource support and such. And we have a number of participants this week of our faculty going through different sessions. It's first the high school session for a couple days, and then the elementary school or lower school for the back half. And so all told, we have about 23 participants going through to Hillsdale. So I would say that confirms that we still have access to the summer conference, which I know was a topic of discussion over the last number of months.
Dr. Gelster's there too, right?
Yes, yeah. Not as a training, but just participating in the various sessions. So I think the leadership training is February. In terms of open positions, we've had some flux over the month. Just give an overview as to where that stands. So our openings in the high school. So I should put this two. Originally, it's really one, but kind of on review of administration. I think what Dr. Wozniak was looking at and kind of recommended actually having 2 music teachers, and we can accommodate that within the budget. There are candidates that are in process, kind of moving to the next rounds to fulfill that program. We have one opening in the science department, still waiting, kind of just seeing where the interest comes in. One paraprofessional for special ed, and a nurse, a previous one at the upper campus has retired. So, and Dr. Wozniak, I think we have active candidates for the nursing position. The paraprofessional, we have, just so you guys are aware, it's a little bit kind of like market color in a sense. We had a offer out to a very interesting candidate that was, our head of special ed was a big fan of. Dr. Wozniak was a big fan of. They made a decision based on proximity to where they live. At East, so total 5 open teaching positions. We have 2 offers pending decision that they have until the end of this week. We'll see where that stands. And just so you know, Dr. Galston was very involved in speaking with these candidates and assessing them, and moving forward was based on his recommendations and preferences. So, and he's waiting to hear back. He did the actual offer in terms of communicating to the candidates. So you guys can just kind of an idea as to how we've been coordinating these. Also, a point of color, we had offered someone, this I actually found interesting, we had offered someone who took another position. It was, they came from a Catholic school, they were very interested in us, ended up taking a position at another Catholic school, and the compensation was actually pretty meaningful. I would say kind of ahead of ours, even in our sort of like rebased levels, which I found of note. Because when I'm kind of looking at compensation landscape of, say, Catholic private schools, we were kind of a hair ahead.
Yeah.
And this one turned out to be different, so, and I shared that with Don as well. It's kind of notable, just
Yeah.
kind of color.
Was it a bigger school, John, or do you know?
Don't know. Their previous school that they were at was a bigger, in the Milwaukee area. It was a bigger location. And that's really the notable updates.
All right.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, John. I'm just looking back at the slides here. Alright, next is the president's report. I don't have a lot of additional comments to add. I want to reiterate some of my communication to the community and what I shared in my letter last week, and thank John for his service and sacrifice to the school in what was a very challenging time for the school. I think that your commitment to the school is commendable, and appreciate your support. One thing that I've observed as the board chair over the last, 40 days or so since I've been board chair, is your ability to work really well with Don. And I think I speak on behalf of the board, appreciate the work that you guys have put in together to make this transition smooth. It's kind of an awkward time, right? In the lame duck session, so to speak. And I think, from my conversation with Don and what he shared and the information that we had in the conversation we had, really appreciate that, Don. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we do it for the children, as we say, right?
Yeah. I have two other updates that I want to share with the rest of the board and the community. I think everyone at this table is aware of Don's plan to address some of the concerns that John covered with DPI. And so Don has a strategy to address those concerns moving forward. And so really excited about that. I've shared that information with DPI, and not with DPI, but with our county authorizer. And they seemed to indicate that they thought that would be viewed very favorably with DPI. And so that information's been shared with Paul Farrow's office, and Don is very confident in that path as we move forward. So that's something that I've asked Don to address next month in more detail as part of his head principal report in his first official meeting as the head principal next month.
We don't meet in the next month though, right?
We don't meet in August. It's August.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sean Lundy's noted in one of our very good conversation with you. Yes, so,
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I hadn't spoken with him in the past, but reached out and made a connection. He was very praiseworthy of the conversations that you had, and appreciated that working relationship, and certainly Randy as well. So the other item that I wanted to share is with respect to our status as a Hillsdale member school. As all of us know, our status as a candidate member school is set to expire this month. I've had some conversation with Hillsdale about what that next step looks like yet. And I expect that something will be forthcoming. I don't have a direct answer necessarily what it will look like, but the conversation that I had was that they would allow us to enter as a candidate member school. So we had member status, and a candidate member school is kind of a temporary status. That's kind of where we're at now. So it's set to expire at the end of this month, but basically they would be re-reviewing where we're at. It would provide all of the same access. So as John said, we have teachers at board training right now. So it would continue in practice that access for our teachers and staff to the training that Hillsdale offers. And then once they do their review, and I don't know what the term that will necessarily look like, we could potentially return to a candidate member school. And in that process, you enter into an agreement that like we previously had. So I'm expecting an update on that yet this month, so that with the goal of not lapsing our status. So we will continue to be a member school, but just in that candidate member school status. So.
I-
I think we signed that candidate member school agreement like in early March,
Yes,
so that's in place now. So we are a candidate member school now,
but,
and then it ran for 6 months was what I recall. I can look it up.
oh, I thought it expired at the end of June was my recollection, that it was terminating at the end of this
So
month.
I know they brought up the candidate member school like right at the beginning of
Yeah.
the year, but they gave us 60 days notice, so we actually didn't sign the agreement until March 9th. So I think we have 6 months from March 9th, but I can confirm that.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I misread that, it wasn't entirely clear, but I thought our status terminates at the end of this month.
I'll verify, but I'm pretty sure it was 6 months from, it was like March 8th, March 9th, something like that.
I think it was the 8th.
I don't recall at all.
Regardless, I think my understanding, or based on my discussion, I would expect that we'll have clarity on what our status is. I think we'll move into that candidate member school status in an indefinite period as they reevaluate that, with the hope of moving toward, the discussion is, we move back to the member status and have an agreement for, an indefinite period of time.
So
So,
the candidate number is just sort of indefinite at this point until,
Yeah.
that will be reviewed.
Because our current agreement, whether it terms at the end of this month or at some other point in time later this summer, has an end date. And so this will be,
We'll supersede whatever.
yes, and we'll extend our status.
but it won't change it, it'll be the same status that we are in
Correct.
right now, that we've been in since March, we'll just continue.
Yes.
Is there any chance that they would not continue that?
Yes, there is, they didn't promise me anything necessarily. I think one of the things that will share with me is, they're gonna be meeting with Don when he's on campus and have an opportunity to, explore that a little bit more, and so, I'm optimistic that that is going well based on just the interactions that I've had with Don since becoming board chair. I've continue to be impressed by him, and so we'll see, but there's no guarantee. They haven't promised me anything, but
Well, did they ever, I agree with you about Don. I think he's been great. And I think that we have, taken the actions that they had asked us to take, and we've done all those things, and they still are not. So basically, we're a moving party, they're a moving party, we're coming to an agreement, we're like working together, but like we've done everything and we've gotten nothing, no commitment.
well, I don't know that we have a commitment. They didn't make a commitment, but I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but
no.
I think that,
Well, no,
There'll be an
because we know
extension.
that those
Yeah.
words,
Yeah.
they can always change, so.
Correct.
Yeah,
so I expect something later this month ultimately.
okay.
For-
Okay,
for
then we can talk about that in July.
Yes.
Awesome.
So that is all that I have for the president's report. Sorry, my security on my computer locked, and now I have to go back to the agenda here. Yes.
When we did the executive director report, we didn't talk about the budget at all. Could we just circle back on that? And I just had a couple questions.
Sure. We do have some items on the budget that we want to cover in new business. I don't know if it's related to that, Randy, or is it something separate?
It was just some questions on the report, but we can do it at that time too if you want.
Okay. The next item we have on the agenda is citizens forum. I don't know that anyone filled out any paperwork to speak.
No public comments today.
And so we don't have any public comments for today. So with that, I think we'll move on to new business, but let's open with your question about the budget.
So I wanted on
When I was looking at the reports at the end is sort of where we're at relative to budget, the last couple of pages of the addendum. My question on it was, on the, on our gifts and fundraising, we had budgeted 364, and current year activity as of this report, so we're a month from the end of the fiscal year, was 69, so we're like under 20% of what we had budgeted. Does that include everything from the gala? Or are you still waiting for something on that?
I don't think this would be a number that includes, we're still going through a lot of audit stuff for the gala numbers. No, I don't think this is including that.
Okay, I mean, I know it's not gonna be $300,000,
No.
but it seemed low.
No, that's like.
Okay. And then our expenses, we were at about 84% of budget on expenses. With a month to go in the year, is it fair to say then we would probably pick up another 8% of expenses over the next month? We'd be at 92 roughly.
Right.
And outside of, this is the first year, I think, at least since I've been here, that our expenses look like they might be higher than the revenue. Modestly, is there anything else on the revenue side that, other than potentially the gala, anything of significance that we expect coming in over the next month? And then the other state categorical aid, looked like we had a 6.8 million number, and we're at 5 million. It seemed like a big gap there. Was that just we projected too high? Do you know the answer to that?
We should be, hold on a second. We are at 530 or 529. 529 enrollment, and it should be 12,364. So in total, it should be 6.5. So this might just be either dated or the final check that has something.
What page are you on, Randy?
So we should probably be a better valuation
Yeah.
at the end of the fiscal year. Okay.
It's just a timing issue.
Yeah, just timing. Yeah, because it's, this year's, the 25-26 funding is 12,364, and our count, our official DPI hard count was like 529. So,
Yeah. Okay.
this should be all.
All right. Good. That was it, Scott.
All right. The next item on the list is budgetary in nature. Speaking of audit and revenue, John brought to me an item from Kathleen, who handles our accounting at CC6, and she identified some items that were not coded, or they were coded, but they were not coded in the right bucket, is my understanding. And it's important that they, of course, be coded correctly to ensure that we can receive all the money that we need to next year, it sounds like. So John, I don't know if we have an additional color count there. I can read what she shared with the rest of the board.
Yeah, I think just read it. This has to do with the special ed funding and reimbursements. The whole Fund 10, Fund 27, which admittedly is not my expertise. Kathleen kind of laid out what it is. But the point is that this is accounting code. It's a non-cash impact. It's strictly.
It's a designation, right,
Yeah.
on the ledger for what,
Yes. Yeah.
for encumbered funds,
It's just keeping the codes in line with what DPI wants so that we get
the funding.
amount, yeah.
Yeah. So what she said was there was a change in the DPI required accounting codes. That started July 1st, 2025, that affected Fund 27.
Mhm.
This is common each year to align with federal government accounting. But last summer, the change affected more accounts in special ed than we typically see. The deadline to correct the budget codes was May 31st. And so this is just to approve that the changes that she's already made didn't have any effect on the budget, as John shared. The reason for the amendment in Skyward, which is the system that we use, and that's common in the schools, was because without it, the budget that we send to DPI would be incorrect, and the incorrect account codes affect the amount budget in those codes, and we would not be able to send DPI. This system will accept invalid account codes, which understate the amount in special ed. So,
That makes perfect sense.
that, I mean, there's a little more detail to her explanation, but just reclassifying the coding of things, there's no increases or decreases in funds. But it does affect how much we get in revenue, so. It was suggested that we vote to approve this change.
Okay.
So, out of an abundance of caution, was your recommendation?
Yeah, because I don't know that,
We probably don't have to,
it's more of an administrative, than a governance thing, but.
but, so, let me go back to my
So
agenda here.
we need a motion
Motion,
and
yes.
discussion.
Yes. So,
I'll move.
Georgia moves to
Approve the amendment,
approve the amendment to the
budget. I'll second.
codes. Matthew seconds, all in favor, or any discussion?
Discussion.
Yeah.
Quick question. Does this change apply, so I'm trying to reconcile in my mind whatever budget, where this money was allocated in terms of the budget when we passed the budget, when we approved the budget? Does changing this code assign money from, this department to that department or anything like that?
It doesn't change, move money from department to department, but it does increase the revenue that the school gets.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean,
Yes.
we're not saying it
We're
went
not taking it
from
from
this group
special
and giving it to
education
that
somewhere else
group.
or vice versa.
Yeah, in terms of like our high line item budgets where we're like saying, hey, this much money should be spent on special education as an
Yes.
example, then we're not changing that, anything like that.
My understanding, and John, you correct me if I'm wrong, we wouldn't be getting money, so
Yeah,
it doesn't take it from somewhere else. It's just that you can't submit the old codes
yeah.
that were being used here.
Okay, that's good. I just want to make sure we weren't like, I understood before I say yes, that we're not really changing our financial expectations here. We're just changing the coding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
All right. Now I want to vote, all in favor of this budget amendment?
Well, not really a budget amendment, but to
Amendment
amend the
budget
coding.
code.
Where the-
Yes. All in favor of the amending the coding for the budget items that were discussed?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that passes. The next item is just some clarification of language in our bylaws. Section 4.3 of our bylaws discusses the qualification of directors. Currently, there's language regarding what that commitment is, age. Should I read that information, or is this?
Yeah, sure, if you want to, or.
Section 4.3 of our bylaws discusses the qualifications of directors. Each director must be an individual person who's 25 years of age or older. Qualifications for board directorship shall include, but shall not be limited to, enthusiasm for the school and conviction in its purpose, support for the principles of the board agreement with Hillsdale College and the mission of the Hillsdale College Barney Charter School Initiative. C, willingness to submit to an extended criminal background check. D, agreement to abide by the board's code of conduct. E, commitment to the professional development and the completion of any state requirements for training or development. F, special skills to address specific management and needs of the school. G, willingness to accept and support decisions democratically made. And H, the ability to represent the school to the community. So we're proposing some modifications of that, relatively minor, but some of them are references to Hillsdale. Based on the correspondence that I've seen, it looks like Hillsdale doesn't refer to it as the Barney Charter School Initiative. They just refer to generally as Hillsdale College. And then there's some clarification in the language. So the new language of section 4.3 reads, Each director must be an individual person who is 25 years or age or older. It's the same. Qualifications for board directorship shall include but not be limited to A, enthusiasm for the school and conviction of its purpose. The B is where there's some changes, striking support of and adding willingness to uphold. The principles, striking of the and adding of policy governance, comma, the board's agreement with Hillsdale College, comma, striking and the mission of the Hillsdale College Barney Charter School Initiative, and adding and LCCA's joint mission with Hillsdale College. The rest, no, it's not entirely true. The rest of the agreement is largely the same, but it says willingness to submit to an extended criminal record background check. D, agreement to abide by the board's, this is new language, policies and code of conduct, and then E, F, G, H, all remain the same.
I have a question. In approving this, if there were to be more changes with Hillsdale, we would have to put new language in at that time? Do you
Yeah,
reflect?
I would think we would probably change some of the language regarding our joint mission with Hillsdale, and
But we're okay, I mean, are we okay, I guess is more the question to pose to my colleagues here is, are we okay committing, even though at this moment we're uncertain?
So maybe it would be helpful, so in the executive content, I added copy and paste from an email from Kendra and Michael Osborne, PhD, Director of Governance Support at Hillsdale College. So Kendra has been, in our marketing office, has been working with, I'm just reading the sentence, Hillsdale to update our documents to be in compliance with kind of how they're looking at the college candidate member school of language, hence getting rid of the Barney School thing.
What's that shift?
So
The shift away from
Barney
the
School.
LCCA,
Yeah.
okay, to.
So
Hillsdale.
she's been working with that. So much of this language was approved by Michael Osborne, Director of Governance Support at Hillsdale. So this is coming from the K-12 support office and saying, here's the language we would recommend you guys use going forward.
Perfect.
So I kind of look at that as a good sign.
I'm just
Yeah, totally.
going the next step then
Yep.
of if, since Skylar is hoping to hear by the end of the month, and if we don't know and we don't have that resolved, or if it were to go in a different direction, I just want to ensure that we're not tethering ourselves to something that we, you
I
know,
would
if a change
suggest-
needed to be made, we would just volley that into the future and
yeah, I think there'd be a lot
Deal
of
with it at
changes
that
that would
time.
be required if that relationship
That
did
would
sever besides this, but absolutely. I wouldn't want to have that reference if we didn't have some kind of partnership, or that we weren't working toward that.
well, hopefully that'll never happen. But I live my life in the area of what if it happens?
Contingency planning.
Ugh.
Do we have a motion to approve this edit?
So moved.
Second.
All right, then I know we've had discussion, any additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next item, our bylaws and policies. Obviously, we just made an amendment, but I will defer the comment here largely to Matthew. We've got a number of existing bylaws and policies. They've been in place for quite a while. I don't know that we've spent any significant time reviewing them with this makeup of the board. Maybe Randy and I did, but I don't know. The three of you have been part of that process. And so, one of the things that Matthew suggested is that we revisit those policies and evaluate, are those policies still appropriate for us as a board as we continue to move forward? Are the policies serving the needs of the board, or are we stuck with the policies that we have and that type of thing? What I would say is some of the policies that we have in place haven't necessarily been followed over the last 9 months or so in an extraordinary time, right? And so I think this is an appropriate time to review those, and I don't think it was necessarily, I think it was necessary in some cases to do the things that we did. So it's not an indictment of not necessarily following the policies, but I think there will be some return to normalcy if we have, been without a head principal for the last, effectively since the beginning of January, right? I mean, I know Margaret was still here for some period of time, but we will have a new head principal in a few days, and so there will, be a new normal as Don gets settled in. And so I think that would be appropriate to revisit these. I don't know if that's something that we can necessarily review all of this today, Matthew.
Probably not.
Yeah, otherwise it might be one of those 3 meetings again, which everyone loves.
It'd be bad for a start.
Yeah. So Matthew, like I said, I was turning it over to you, but I just want to kind of set the stage.
Thank you. So same sentiment. Feel like we've kind of been reborn a little bit, and I just wonder if it would be helpful to us to go through this process. I don't know how long or how often, like it doesn't even have to be every month, right? But we just start kind of working through. I'd like us to have an opportunity to say, that policy, so as an example, we have a public comments policy. Is that public comments policy really serving the community the best or not? Maybe we want to change that. So I'd like to have a conversation around the existing policies we have. Do we feel, and kind of just go one by one and say, what role is this serving? Should it be edited? Should it be gotten rid of? Should we add another one? Are there gaps? Is this too rigid or too loose? Like kind of go through that process. Michael Osborne, Dr. Michael Osborne, the new Director of Governance Support, said he's more than willing to attend meetings with the board to go through that process if we want his insight. But I just thought it would be a good idea to say, let's look at our structure and how we want to operate as a community and make sure that our policies are doing what we want to see happening, right? Like sometimes, Skylar made the point, I felt like sometimes we were butting up against policy, right? Like, this is maybe not working the way we want it. We're calling it extraordinary times, but maybe that means we need a policy change, right? To be more accommodating. So I just want to go through the process of just at least looking at this and deciding we like what we got, we don't like what we got. Let's add, let's change, let's get rid of, that kind of thing.
Well, part of the strategic plan that we started many moons ago, less than a year ago, I believe part of that was to go through all of the policies and procedures and do that whole thing, and obviously it got side railed.
I think, this is sort of part of that Carver model, which I'm assuming, what's his name, Dr. Osborne?
Yep.
I'm assuming that he's promoting that.
I would guess.
I would
I would guess.
I don't know if he's brought it up, but I'm sure like that's
Yeah,
within his.
thing.
He's a new hat.
Yeah, he's brand new.
Been on board there for about a month.
Right.
He took Cassidy's job, I think.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, that's
Carver's
actually my chart here I used to show all the time, but we have the ends policies and
Right.
delegation policy. So that might be, something I think those George is referring to, which is part of that broader.
Yeah.
And then what we never got to was the ends policies, which are the challenging ones, which is like the guidelines for the school leader.
Right.
So that might be good to kind of do those in conjunction all together. And some of those we did start on, and I can share those with you too.
I think that'd be great. I mean, I just, if I were to just really loosely, right? So we've got our bylaws that I think we should go through and just review that as well. It doesn't have to be tonight. But we've got 9 policies: conflict of interest, code of conduct, linkage, no action until, accounting, regarding ambassador engagements, public comments, release, inspection, and reproduction of public records. Not like sexual reproduction, but reproduction.
That's helpful.
We're not governing how people.
We don't have a reproduction policy.
Okay. It's only Ellen and I here. I don't know. Wait a minute.
I'm so sorry. Strategic human resources.
Can we strike that from the
You are
minutes?
Yeah,
turning red. Yeah.
Strategic human resources. So as an example, right, in looking at this, I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe we need a policy about safety to help guide the future of LCCA around safety. What do we want to see? Maybe not. maybe policies around school culture, maybe policies around, I don't know, but I want to think, broadly about some of those things and say, hey,
Let's think, yeah, sorry.
that's okay, good.
I know Ellen and I had talked about this, and maybe Shelley got saying, and pretend she didn't, but, our bylaws, like when our attorney was looking at them, and sometimes Ellen was looking at them, and kind of scratching her head going, this isn't customary.
Yeah.
So I know Ellen had talked about maybe doing an initial review of the bylaws and making some suggestions.
That'd be great.
So if she's still willing, we never got around to that because we had sort of chaos break loose at that point, but I thought that would be a good thing that we should do, not necessarily urgent, but
Yeah.
something we could get to that we probably should do.
I think maybe we could just start by adding, here, brainstorm. Just, if it's maybe every month or every other month, we just add, let's review one policy
Right.
at our board meeting and discuss it, or let's review the bylaws, right? Maybe we could start with the bylaws if you're willing to go through that process. But then if we just add one a month, it won't be overwhelming. And somewhere in there, we could have a conversation. Maybe it's appropriate to do it at the end of, okay, now that we've gotten through all the policies we have, let's talk about the policies we wish we had.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, it makes more sense to start with the policies that we wish we had, knowing that, I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I'm totally open. I don't have a strong feeling.
I think those are the ends policies. That's the key in Carver is the ends policies that we never got to, and they are the hardest ones. But those are the ones that sort of guide our new school, head of school.
Right?
So that might be
So maybe we should do it first.
challenging, but maybe a good place to start. And piecemeal is the only way I think we're going to be able to do that.
Totally.
To digest it.
Yeah, I don't want to overwhelm us. with-
Violating the open meetings laws. Another thing I think is gonna be really relevant because of the experience that Don brings is, what's his input on some of these things, what is he seeing? Obviously we have to provide some direction to him, of course, on what we want, but, he's got a tremendous amount of experience of,
Mhm.
and we're still in our infancy in many ways. We would be starting kindergarten,
We're in toddlerhood.
yeah.
I think that's a great idea, Randy, and we should probably include Don, or at least pick his brain, pick his history, he has 30 years of experience in doing so. Since it never really got a lot of traction and the train didn't get too far down the tracks, and it sounds like you have a desire and a gift for doing these kind of things.
Thank you.
Can we have Matthew take over that part of what was the strategic plan, whether it still will be or it'll morph into something else, but can
Matthew would be really good at that.
can I be absolved of my needing to
What am I doing?
Whatever George
whatever
tells
you
you.
yes.
Whatever George tells me. Got it.
The basically what you just said here, it's this predates when you were on the board, but we had a big 2-day strategic plan session and came up with these guiding principles and made action items out of them and did them for a 2-year period of time, and we had 30-day increments, 60, 90,
Yeah.
It all fell apart. Well, it didn't fall apart. It stalled.
Kind of got lost in the mix.
It paused.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
paused. Because everything that's in there was very dutifully thought about, talked about ad nauseum, and put in for all the right reasons. What we
Yeah,
did,
so I don't want to remake the
the
wheel.
product was great.
Right.
The implementation or the starting of it and the meeting
Okay.
those timelines really kind of never got going. So pause is a great word.
Yeah,
It's a great word. So one of the sections of was reviewing all the policies, reviewing and then
Yeah.
deciding what we were going to do. And it kind of,
Okay.
I like how you presented let's do one per meeting because then it's digestible. But like you said on the Carver model, which is Hillsdale's model of how they want everything, you got to make sure that chart that you have, Randy, the Venn diagram, we got to have that front and center.
So the piece that
Send
you're telling
to-
me to take over is not the strategic plan, but just that piece.
that piece of the strategic plan.
And
The piece being all of the policies.
all policies,
Yeah.
no problem.
I just
So-
emailed you the chart, by the way.
Very
good. Oh, thank you. So I guess the question is, do we want to start with the bylaws question, or do we want to start with the ends policies question?
Well, that's much harder.
I think with and Ellen, you can tell me if you think we should. I think that, like Ellen offered to do kind of a review of those, and maybe we could do those things simultaneously.
Yeah, I don't think that, I think the bylaws can be done simultaneously, with taking on.
At the same time, it's like
you know,
dual
part of
track,
it,
yeah.
I'll go through them and I'll start to like redline what I think was like obsolete.
So July meeting, you're kind of thinking you'd have something to show us, or September meeting?
We're not meeting in July. Just kidding.
Probably September, to be
September, yep.
realistic, yeah.
That's a great time.
The other thing, Matthew, I was gonna mention is Hillsdale, this is when, this is pre-Dr. Osborne, but they were working through sample policies. Not that we would have to use them, but as a starting point, so we're not starting from scratch.
They're in the library,
I have that document, yeah.
and they're in the library. We have the Hillsdale Library.
Yes,
There's a whole section there.
perfect.
So you're aware.
Pull them all out and read them.
Totally.
Okay.
I think they call it
Again.
Golden State or something.
Yeah.
They've got a whole book.
Yeah,
Got it.
oh, yeah, that's what it is, yeah. It's the same one.
So bylaws in September, what about ends policies? Do we want to do that first? It sounds like that.
I
sounds
think
like
it should be a
it's-
priority in addition to,
I mean, Don's new, maybe this is a good time to do it, like right at the
I
beginning.
think so.
So also September.
Well, I don't know September, but I think it should be something we should be working on in July and September, and I mean, ideally, I don't know if we'll have it done by September.
So tell me where that left off.
So some of those things, like that slide I just sent you, we did some of those things. The thing with the ends policies is we never started those.
Yeah.
And those are the trickiest ones, so I think what I was thinking that we never got to is maybe the best way is if we do, like you suggested, one or two at a time at a meeting, and rather than trying to draft it as a group, like have,
Like
come with a draft, say, here's what I'm thinking, here's why, and then we can, edit and vote on it. So I think a couple at a time, because it's a
Couple at a
big
time.
project to really get through all of those ends policies.
But John, wanted to add something?
If the board is gonna kind of revisit this, I might suggest, this is a follow-up, Works and the county, Sean, so their calendar opens up for a meeting with Don, and it probably makes sense for you to go in July. Otherwise I would go in June, but it probably makes sense for you. But Works, as I learned, they have significant resourcing to their boards. There's conferences, they can come to the meetings, like board meetings. So from a state of Wisconsin standpoint,
Perspective, yeah.
There's the Hillsdale element of us.
That's great.
There's the Wisconsin compliance and.
How do I get dialed into accessing those resources?
It's a person, so
Oh, it's a
like
person.
Skylar's in touch
Oh,
with them.
beautiful.
So,
I've seen some correspondence that
Yeah.
maybe was previously.
That's WERC.
but that just might be helpful.
Yeah.
to-
Thank you.
And I'm looping Don together, so just,
I think his name, is it Tim?
yeah.
I haven't spoken to that person, but,
Tremendous resource.
yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, then, between now and July, we'll try, if I can, so you're the guy would need to get the contact information?
I can share with you, yeah. Okay.
That'd be great if you'd be willing to do that. And so between Dr. Osborne and this guy, and I'll just start pulling stuff together and we'll see. And, I mean, just since we're gonna be working together on this, I take none of this personally. So I will propose a draft, and if you all hate it, we'll go back to the drawing board. That's okay. Very good. So I'll have something to show us at the next meeting.
Right. The next two items are somewhat related to policies and bylaws, but under board development. The next one is board calendar. I asked Matthew to upload a copy of the board calendar that we historically approved, or a version of it. I've got copies here and actuarial font.
We'll share.
Yeah.
I got more than one here.
I don't have my reading glasses.
No, then, yeah.
Okay.
That's just evil.
Yeah, it's quite small,
Not just
but
Okay.
I couldn't figure out how to make it
I'm just-
much larger. So this is a number of activities that we've historically undertaken as an organization. Some of them are board related, some of them are operational, that principal handles. The vast majority of them, but they're expectations of things that will get done. Some of them are required by our charter or our authorizer. And they're categorized in different operational, authorizer compliance, culture, updates, academic related items, student services, enrollment, staffing, financials, and then board governance. So I shared this list with Don to get his feedback as he's getting up to speed. Some of these things have requirements, for example, in July, his first days in July. So I wanted to make sure that we're not imposing any requirements that are unreasonable as he's getting up to speed. He's looked at it and thinks that most of these items are appropriate and reasonable.
So what's in red is what's new or changed?
Yeah, those were new as of last year, actually.
So is there any, what's changed from?
The only item that's changed on this sheet here is the item related to, I don't remember.
Head principal
Head
evaluation?
principal evaluation. Historically, we've done evaluation twice a year.
Right.
This change contemplates that we would do it 3 times a year.
Yeah, so his contract stipulates that at the beginning of the school year, there's planning that's done, and then there's an evaluation and planning that's done down at the beginning of the year, and then between the 2 semesters, and then at the end of the year.
And so that's
This
the
one.
change.
If you're looking for it, it's this one right here.
I can't, it's so small, I'm
Yeah.
having finding it.
Glad it's not just me.
It's under,
Staffing.
Staffing, head principal,
yeah,
head principal evaluation. He's got 3 check marks in there and then a description.
yeah. So, I think those changes were I don't think, they were the only material changes from the earlier version of this timeline. But in discussing with Dr. Gelster, he thought that these made sense, but he did ask for a little grace in July as he tries to figure out operationally where we're at on some of these things and, still getting up to speed a little bit,
I think some of
which I
these
thought was
things-
appropriate.
Some of these things too are just so we didn't forget, maybe no
Yeah.
matter if they were done in July or August, just so they don't
Yeah.
roll off the radar.
Yeah, and so my thought is, I'd like to, I don't know that we have to vote to approve this today necessarily, but I wanted to get this in front of everyone to take a look at. And then Don will have an opportunity to review this in more detail before our July meeting, then we can formally adopt this calendar at that point in time. Because while he did look at it and provide me some feedback, he said he wasn't sure entirely on all of them being feasible for July, this go on, just because he doesn't know where it's all at.
Sure, it's a lot. On board governance,
Yeah, that's strategic.
strategic planning offsite.
Yeah, so I don't know that I want to necessarily redo that, because I don't think there's, to Brady's point, or the number of comments that have been made, that we wouldn't necessarily have to, but it may be appropriate to read Don in, to speak, so to speak, and get some additional feedback on his thoughts on certain things. And so I wasn't sure that might have to be something that's done in addition to a board meeting. But it could also be done maybe in a smaller group setting, just to get him up to speed on what we did, perhaps with the folks that we worked with when we went through that process. So that's why I left that on there. But the date is not correct. We strike that.
One thing to mention, Skylar, is, maybe that goes over the next item, but we did have one more meeting that we sort of prepaid for.
Yes.
With the strategic planning, that we could do an update or something if we felt they could add some value.
Yeah. I don't know that Don knows what is in there, so I'd like to get his input. I think, as Georgia said, I think a lot of the work was thoughtful and intentional in what we were trying to accomplish. I don't know that much of that has changed. It's just that our priority shifted with all the things going on.
Yeah.
But I would like, Don's thought on it. And then we can discuss how we want to proceed. So I would envision having strategic planning as an item to discuss at our next board meeting. Not that we want to abandon what we've already done. I don't think that's the goal at all, but again, I think we gotta read Dr. Gelster in a little bit on
Mm-hmm.
what that looks like.
Yeah, I mean, Margaret was a big part of it, so I should get his input too.
Yeah.
Got it. I'm sure it's on the agenda.
Do we want to do that to him in July?
Definitely.
I think sooner rather than later. I mean,
Okay.
I think
You can have it.
we don't have an August board meeting. I'll have a conversation with him, and he's very knowledgeable of what his limitations are. And so I've said, like, you tell me if this is an unreasonable request or an unreasonable turnaround time on some things.
I think he'll appreciate seeing kind of what we're gonna be asking and just having an opportunity to speak into it and then prepare for it by September,
Yeah. I love my security on my computer. It locks me out after about a minute.
A minute, yeah.
He's probably changed that.
So the other item I had on here is our strategic plan. We've talked about it a lot tonight as far as that it exists.
Okay, so we're gonna hold this one.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
so
okay.
we're not gonna vote on
Yeah.
the board calendar
That's
right
good.
now, but
Yep.
wanted to socialize that concept, idea. And then from a strategic plan standpoint, again, we've talked a lot about our strategic plan. I've certainly heard everyone say, we don't think we're ready to abandon that effort or what we've done. But I wanted to talk a little bit about how we incorporate down into that process. As Randy shared, we do have one more session that's included in our consulting fee with Partner to Learn. And so I'm gonna spend some time between now and July talking with Don about where we're at, and then looping those folks in if needed. They'll probably do a much better job. I believe that Don's gone through straight finder's assessment, so he's familiar with that process. We've talked about that. He actually brought it up to me. So he's familiar with that work, but not necessarily our strategic plan at this point. So I will spend some time chatting with him about that, and then, Brandy, do you have our contacts at Partner to Learn, or I'm guessing that came through you?
Yeah.
They got advance.
Okay. So we can connect with them on how to make those
Yep.
connections. All right. The next item on the list is board structure. As it relates to board structure, a couple of items that I think are important. I'm now the board chair, and I was the treasurer. It's not clear to me, I didn't see anything that you can't serve as a treasurer and the board chair. I don't know that I need to if anyone else wants to take on the treasurer role. But is anyone interested in that? Or do you feel that it's necessary that I would not hold both positions?
I think it's fine if you hold both. We did go without a treasurer for a while. I
Okay.
remember when Brian left.
Yeah. Didn't return. So that role is not as much time as the board chair, and I'm happy to continue to serve in that role until we go through our elections next time, if no one is interested in taking it on, or doesn't feel strongly that we need to change that. So, that's fine.
You know what I do, that reminds me of something. So when we were making payments post-gala, and I'll bring this up in our meeting too, but it appears that we never had the bank change the signatories on the account. So I think that needs to probably get expedited.
I've reached out to our finance team to initiate that process so that Don, so right now signatories are myself and it was Margaret,
Yeah. Well, and her name was still on the checks.
Okay. Oh, on the, just like
That
on
can't
the
happen.
checks, yeah.
Yeah, that
So
puts
I
us
have,
sideways.
so it's not a signatory issue, it's the name,
We need your checks?
She's still signing checks.
well,
Not
yeah.
the electronic authorization or whatever. I thought we did too. That's why I was very surprised to see.
We did, and Mary was gonna change it, but maybe that got lost when she left, that didn't happen.
Oh.
We thought.
We did.
That would make,
two
I thought we did, yeah, and then,
And,
Skylar even came in and signed something, put his name on there.
well, then it
and,
should be your name.
I don't know if I want, I mean, I have the authority, I don't know that I've signed anything, or
Mhm.
given my digital signature for signature purposes. But, we have started the process to get Don signatory authority. So that will be effective.
They don't need a resolution, like, I thought the bank needed
Board
Action.
resolution.
Word action to have that done.
my Tina.
Yeah, did they not, you talked to the actual bank, right? Workshop?
I've not yet.
Oh,
I've asked Kathleen to start that process, and who's the other person I'm trying to talk about?
Finance Patricia?
Patricia, yeah.
You should just talk to the
Okay,
workshop.
I will reach out to Waukesha Bank and our investment account as well.
I know they required that when we were gonna put John on there, which we never ended up doing, we required a resolution, so they.
Okay, so I'll put that on
You have to
our
report action to do.
board agenda.
So for July, what
Yeah.
do we need on the?
A resolution to approve signatory authority.
But can we have that done? I mean.
Can
we do it? We have to notice it?
Checks makes us
Mhm.
highly.
I think we need to go back and make sure that the resolutions we passed earlier have been forwarded to the bank.
Okay.
And look what we said, because I know we removed Margaret from something.
I'm pretty sure from all signatory authority.
Oh.
I mean, it should,
Yeah.
These were
we
payments in
authorized
May,
it. Yeah, no, I understand.
alarming, and that I stumbled upon by accident.
Matthew also,
John.
that we need a,
Can we send
Look
a
at past notes
communication
and see,
to
is that what you're saying? Look
our
at the past notes and
Kathleen in the
see
finance
somewhere in there,
department?
probably
We did a resolution.
March,
I mean,
April.
We don't want to hold
Earlier.
it, but
No,
Wait, no.
because she was there through March.
We don't have any payments, but I will,
no, I just that the signature's correct.
yeah, I was never on the bank account by the
Yeah.
board, and also not my preference as well, but I have the contact.
Yeah.
I will message the bank
Sure.
with you, and then
Right.
you should just talk to the bank.
I already have signatory authority, my name's not. My digital signature is not approving anything, because I'm not reviewing the checks that go out or.
Yeah, well, therein lies my concern, like, it's not so much that your name isn't on it yet,
It's
like,
the per-
like
the
it should,
wrong
it's,
person is
the
on
wrong
it.
person is,
Yes.
and the exposure and liability that
Correct.
creates for us.
And those were coming from Waukesha State Bank?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's our check.
bank as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
So we'll dig in
I
the
have
past
a
notes.
relationship with Ty Taylor, who's the president
Yeah.
of the bank, so if you need help, like, I can
I don't think we'll have
certainly.
any problem.
Yeah, I
Our
don't think so
contact's
either.
responsive, I wasn't aware that
Okay.
that was what was
Cool.
happening.
Got it.
So, no need to change the roles, the board titles, presently. The next item, as it relates to board structure, is new board members. So, we have a number of people who have expressed an interest in the board. I think we have 4 people currently who've expressed an interest in the board, as of earlier this week. Randy's term and my term both end in January of 2027. And Ellen and Georgia's term ends in November of 2027. As I think about board composition, one of the things that I do think is important is having representation of families on the board. I think that's really important. But I want to be intentional about how we go about structuring this. As it relates to Randy's and my terms, I haven't had a discussion necessarily with Randy, and I haven't fully decided what I'm gonna do for my next term on the board. what I don't wanna do is add 2 board members and then, for example, if Randy and I both decide to resign, then we have 4 new board members, and then we, the majority of the board's new. I don't think that that's necessarily the right decision, and how to handle this, and that's my personal thought on the situation. The other thing that I've been thinking about is, I don't know that I wanna bring a new board member on this month or next. I'd like to, at the very earliest, bring a new board member on after the start of the school year in our September board meeting, if we wanna add new board members. And so, I know that doesn't necessarily answer any questions, but I think it gives some context that I don't know that be ready to bring on any new board members, at least for the duration of the summer, as Don gets up to speed and, want to speak with consistent voices as we work with them over the next few months. So my thought is, and I'm want to open this up for discussion with the rest of the board, is that we would reevaluate adding new board members in our September board meeting, whether it would be appropriate at that time. By then, I will have, I think, largely decided, I'll be a few months into this role, and I'll be able to decide what I want to do for, if I want to stay on for an additional term, and I don't know, Randy, if you'll have necessarily come to a decision by that point. But for myself personally, then it would give me some context. At the most, I would anticipate, if we do add new board members, that I would add 2 to keep, the numbers. I don't want to have 6 board members instead of 7. But that's kind of my thought on that process. I don't know what other people on the board think about that, but that's kind of my thought.
I think 7's a good number. 5's hard, because if you lose one, then you can't conduct business. It also spreads some of the work around a little bit more. And, I mean, the fewer you have, the easier it is to get things done, but I think it's always good to have a couple extra for that reason. And just, as we all know, it takes a while to kind of figure this out, what's going on, the reports. For some of us, how public records and all that stuff works. So I think it's good to have a flow of new board members and stagger things a little bit. So I feel like 7 is the right number, which would mean that we would have 2 that we would need to fill. And we could, I mean, maybe you just want to wait till September to even vote on it, but we could do it in July, vote on the members, but not have it take effect until September as well, if we wanted to do that.
Well, under that scenario, under the first scenario is if we didn't address it till September, then they wouldn't start till October, and then if the 2 of you did decide to leave, then they would only have 3 months anyway, so they would essentially be brand new too, and the issue that you're trying to avoid is unavoidable with that time.
When are you guys gonna decide what you're doing?
I've pretty much decided already.
Is that something you're able to share?
I probably won't come back for another term, so.
Okay. Have you decided what you're doing?
I'm undecided. I'm leaning toward coming back for another
What if
term.
we started offering snacks at the meetings?
That could entice me. You're speaking my language now.
Okay.
No, I haven't decided. I mean, I have so much respect for the service of Randy after being the board chair, right? I mean, there's a lot that goes into that, and so I want to feel out this time. I think it's a worthwhile endeavor. That's why we're all on the board. But it is a commitment, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we're all stretched thin and different things. So I just want to evaluate it here over the next 60 days or so, and I'll have a good handle on it in September for sure what I'm going to do. So that's kind of my commitment to you all. Is I'll let you know in December or September.
So what are you thinking, or is anybody else thinking on, like, making it effective September? I think that's fine, that makes sense, we don't need August anyway, but deciding in July so they're ready to go in September.
So
Yeah.
That would make sense.
I've got kind of a different take on it. So I would, my thinking on this is, so if you're gonna jump off in January, is kind of what you're thinking?
In January would be our last meeting.
That'd be your last meeting?
Yeah, I think it was
And we don't meet in December either, right? So, I mean, we certainly have to get somebody on by then.
Yeah.
So I think in my mind, part of this is I'd like to have some bylaws that are finished that we can give to new board members, since that's something they have to agree to. So if we can, and that's gonna happen in hopefully September. By September, you'll know what you're gonna do. So I'd have a better sense for how many board members we maybe need to onboard to make sure that we can keep operating, much less what we want. I'd like to have confidence in understanding our candidate member status and what that looks like, which we're gonna find out at our July meeting, right, between now and then.
Before then, hopefully.
So I guess
Could
in
we
my,
place a wager on that?
yeah, but so in my mind, we make a decision about new board members at the September meeting. And onboard those guys at our January meeting or February meeting, something like that.
Well, the only other thought I have, for what it's worth, I know I just said, I don't want to bore too many at the same time. Randy and I are at the exact same time. Our terms are, I mean, if we onboard someone in January,
Right.
you two are at the same time. So it might be prudent to stagger that a little bit if someone starts a little before January, what?
Well, another thought would be, I've been involved in boards that do this too, that bring on, like associate board members who don't have necessarily all of the board privileges, but they're part of it so that they can learn from the experience and the expertise around the table. So they're kind of in training, like apprentices for, the one board in particular does it for 2 years before they can serve. So maybe we could, think about the opposite, which is, you said 4, bring all 4, and then, maybe have them be part of some of the process, or doing some of the things that we're gonna do, share some of the work, or, it does get hard with 5, because if one person isn't here and, like I almost wasn't here tonight, then you wouldn't be able to.
Mm-hmm.
So that would keep us at 7 and have a couple spares.
You can add to one's going.
Yeah,
Just
Yes.
one, yeah, only if one is here, 2, right? Then we don't,
2,
yeah.
no trouble.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So that means only one of you
But
can
you
actually
also-
leave in January. Or preferably you both stay.
I called dibs. By the way, I sent this to you, I checked, our candidate member agreement was signed March 6th, and it is 6 months. I sent
Okay.
that to you, Skylar, so you have
Okay.
that.
That's good. So that decision is made when then? When is that 6-month window up then? It's March 6th to... So we'll know this, so Hillsdale's gonna tell us before that expires.
Yeah. That may be true. For some reason, I thought there was follow-up correspondence of
Okay.
terminating earlier. I don't know why I'm thinking end of June.
Oh, it was the letter where Katie said, if you don't do these things, we're terminating, giving you 60 days notice. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, and I don't know if we met all those criteria.
I'm still here, so
No.
we didn't.
So anyways, regardless, I think that we'll have something this month is the
Okay.
thing. And so I don't know if it's the end of this month. That's the impression I'm under.
Okay.
No one said that to me, that's just my reading of the correspondence. So, and it is my expectation that we'll have a response by the end of this month, so I don't think we're gonna have any gaps in that status of whatever nature. When it expires is up for debate.
So it sounds like at a minimum, we have to have somebody onboarded by February.
Well, we don't have to, but I want to have someone onboarded before then,
Right.
so that way they can be a board member in January, but I would anticipate even maybe before that. I don't know, I mean, let me figure out what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Figure that out. Why don't we bring 2 on? Why don't we vote in July, bring 2 on?
The other thing, I had multiple people, like and Tom had this too, expressed interest in the board, and then a couple months later, they withdrew. Which you want somebody that's gonna be committed to the board, but I just kind of feel like we have I think I know 4. And they're all really good candidates, and part of it is I maybe don't wanna, since we have interested people, it could be good contributors to risk having them lose interest or do something else too, so.
That's a great point.
Can we, I don't know that I've interviewed 2 in the past.
Those 2 are still the candidates. The other 2, Brandy shared one of the names, and the other one just asked about it this week.
Gotcha.
Or
Yeah,
last
so
night.
I did see the 3rd one. I haven't interviewed that person, but
Yeah,
so we just need to get like their resume or whatever.
yeah. I will be getting the 4th one shortly. And I'll share it. We'll put it on where the other items are at.
Fine, sure.
And then the expectation would be, I don't know that we'll vote on in July or not yet, but the expectation would be, please be prepared to have conversations with them for July, and we'll either vote on July or September. On anything with those people, so.
And we're voting on 2, either both in July, not in July, both in September, 1 in July, 1 in September, just some, be prepared.
I think so.
Be agile.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna dictate to the
Yeah.
board that it's gonna be 2 necessarily, but I think that's probably the route we'll go. So. And with that, it's all that I have on the agenda for today.
Fantastic.
So, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any
Who
discussion?
seconded it? Oh, way to go, Georgia.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Adjourn at
Do you wanna discuss it? Are you serious? Okay.
Is that record time?
I know, right?
No, there was one that was shorter.
For clarity of the signature,
Oh, yeah.
Margaret is not a signature on bank.
Signature, yeah.
Yeah.
What you're seeing is leftovers in the software. That is a separate issue, the software that is Skyway.
Yeah.
Should not be being used though, if she like checks,
Yeah.
and having someone like.
Somebody actually signed
Someone else
Signer.
signed it. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Got it.
So can you just
Well,
make sure
that's good
that
news, actually.
Yeah, I'll talk to
Yeah.
Patty about that.
Well, that's good. So it's a non-issue
No,
issue.
we removed her name.
That's
Yeah.
what
Love that.
I know, because I sent you the
But I had that,
Yeah.
and it was only by accident that
I
I.
have planned next week to find
Okay.
out. He has to be.
What's that?
And I do have the electronic.
I saw the spreadsheet once before all the stuff blew up. Okay, I'm free.
Okay, so we don't need that required.
I should have stayed there.
Yes.
Yeah.
They'll still hear that.
Oh, listen to Joe. Yeah, I think it's one of the.
Yeah, the bank is still gonna.
And all the sisters look so much alike. I just love seeing them together. They're so cute. I help out with Fun Food Friday, and it is so adorable. I'm like, I just do. They're just so sweet.
Yeah, I know.
And they're so supportive of each other in the theater, and it's just so.
They did for
I
me.
love that. Of course.
Yeah,
Of
So you
course.
still need that aspect, or you want to use it? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
They have native words, but they do need it. That's good, we don't have the issue that we actually thought we had. Separate issue, that's okay.
That's fantastic.
But we got.
I have an older brother,
Checks
so
do not go out.
It's so funny. And I have boys, like I know. We now have a daughter-in-law, Henry's officially married.